I think whoever can sort of have the better start here is going to sort of win it out. Question mark is TSM. What do they play? Do they dedicate to this triple duelist? It looks like at this point, unless Wardell's going to be playing Cypher, which would be a really big question mark. So this seems to be a common thing for TSM, that they're dedicating to not running any form of Cypher or Sentinel. For NRG, it's straightforward, but KOLER over on the Reyna is an interesting one. He tweeted out in a break saying that he didn't get to play Valorant because he was being upped so much. So that shows how suppressing Wardell can be when he's on fire, and how little NRG can get done when they're on the back foot. This is going to be a hell of a way to finish this series. Oh my god.
Yeah. This will be the first time that we'll see KOLER on the Reyna. You said it with a little bit of surprise. If you're not familiar, he's been mostly ready the Phoenix. So yeah, different looks here for both of our squads. Just kind of showcasing that everything that we came to know about Valorant in the Ignition series, where compositions and picks were pretty stable throughout the entire Ignition series for the most part, that's completely been lopsided. Everyone's still trying to figure out what exactly is the best agent composition, not just for themselves, but up against their opponents. So yeah, interesting to see what kind of comes through here as we'll take our attention over towards this gelato shop. And with that in mind, again, you're just kind of wondering about the Sentinel lack comp here for TSM. Are they going to be hard pressed to hold when they get to the defense? We'll have to consider that as we get through this half, where they'll be starting things off on the attack.
TSM are going to be happy to be attacking first. It is a flip of a coin on who gets to decide what half they play, because there is a ban pick process. So we always knew we were going to Ascent. We just weren't sure who was going to play out beside Subroza, though. Boombot's going to scout out a lot of those corners where people can be hiding, but mostly trying to be a force to be reckoned with. It is just going to be daps playing on the A site. It's not going to be a pure retake. He's willing to try and face as much as possible, but he's sat in the camera waiting for this push to come through.
KOLER scouting through the Aldrum, isn't going to see anything, and he is the one with the spike. Daps will get the spy cam to start tagging with darts, but as the NRG defense starts to rotate, we still have yet to get a commitment from the spike onto site yet, and there it goes. KOLER now making his way on, being mindful of the middle of the map is TSM during this take, but NRG will be allowed to get control of the tree room and garden as they look to set up their post plant. The one thing that they're not going to be expecting is Subroza all the way on the back side. It just comes down to the timing of this hit right here.
That was so dangerous because there's this massive gap now where all of NRG are funneling through onto tree. You've got Subroza, though, that's been completely uncontested. He's good for 2. Tries to get the headshot onto effys, but he is the last alive. I was so worried for TSM with how open that they were going to be exploited from the main doorway. But Subroza, it took a while for him to get there, but it paid off dramatically. They take that first pistol round.
Love the lurk play from Subroza.
That's more like him.
It was, yeah, I was about to say, we didn't see a lot of that on any of the attacking sides for TSM where it came for them playing the lurk. Defensively, when we were on Haven, yeah, early on, they played aggressively through A and also through mid, but this is the first time offensively on a post plant that we've seen TSM try to take away the map from a different angle, and that completely caught NRG off guard.
Drone's expecting a Jett jump boost to maybe come and try and face him a bit early. That's the right idea. The Jett is over there, but she is going to be picking up the ultimate orb. Doesn't take any damage from the incoming spray. And TSM, because they got that round, they can afford to slow the game down. Subroza's starting to feel himself a little bit more. Confidence is oozing, but isn't going to dedicate too hard to the B site. eeiu is going to be watching that doorway from the box on the B site, which is a really nice place that a lot of people are holding nowadays. Saw a lot in the the First Strike eeiu tournament. That was something that they could easily sort of copy and paste and use themselves because it's such a nice position. But really, they're expecting NRG to be pushing on the defense, and they're not. They're 4-stacking A.
Split offensive look as there are dark covers being sent out and a little bit of utility from Subroza over through B, but this is not shaking the NRG defense. They are still holding through A, and Drone late to respond to some. Will be taken down. Good first blood there for NRG defensively, but Wardell is able to respond back. It just comes down to, was he able to keep the weapon safe is the bigger question, as NRG would love to get a little bit of extra utility through SMGs. Down to 30 seconds, and this is going to be a rotation through the middle of the map that daps will mostly read, but unfortunately can't find a kill. And hazed will find a second, looking for a third. He grabs it, all of it with the Bulldog, and TSM just have to get through eeiu now to finalize their second round. eeiu good for one, but can't lock down KOLER for a second.
Yeah, KOLER jumped just as the right-click headshot was potentially coming in, so he manages to survive. Near enough flawless round for NRG, TSM, sorry. 3 of them surviving, so the guns are going to be somewhat decent. But actually, Drone's money was a bit awkward, but the gun hadn't loaded in on the UI yet, it seemed. But the first full buy for NRG were very much wanting to work towards having that Blade Storm up for some with the ult orb that was grabbed in. But yet again, they're stacking multiple people on this A site. They're giving up mid, other than a tripwire. A lot of space on tree, a lot of space sort of on cat and cubby, a lot of space that TSM can exploit and push, but right now they're sort of running into a trap, and NRG actually moving away from the site, expected to try and face in the positions I just mentioned. Interesting choice.
It just comes down to timing at this point. Is it going to be TSM being able to catch NRG maybe a bit off guard, or maybe the vice versa of that? As NRG are still pretty stacked up through tree, and if Subroza can find a way around, there could be an opportunity. Paranoia going to be sent through. His drone was tagged up by a headshot, but the following shots for NRG just aren't good enough to find any kills, so we stay 5v5.
It allows TSM a second chance. They're going to be resetting. Subroza is going to kill a tripwire, but at the same time, daps tries to peek off of it. Wins that engagement, even with the smoke coming down to try and mask it. So immediately, NRG have the man advantage, and considering how low Drone is here, he still manages to survive in when KOLER trying to face him, and he gets the frag.
Wardell's able to find another one, so now the A site's wide open. Sam can't really truly challenge, but as the smokes start to dissipate, the spike will be planted, and Sam, I don't know if he recognizes this, but all 3 members are in front of him. Gets a read on the second. He will find the headshot before Drone finds the kill. Good flash coming through. Drone for his third, looking for the 1v1. Down to 37 HP, now down to 11. And the run it back is not going to be spent to do too much, besides give an extra life. There's going to be the first kill. No chance for him to recoup after the teleport back, and daps will add a little bit of extra sauce at the end as he wins the 1v1 and gets the defuse.
I really like the run it back, because if he dies in that scenario, he goes from being like 10 HP to being full health again, to be the full 100. The issue is, because his position was so out in the open, and because daps did so well to close that distance, as soon as that avatar version of the Phoenix ultimate dies, he could just chase up and kill the real thing. daps has been so good in these clutches across the series. He's now starting to show up. A lot of people, you know, touting him as a really good Counter-Strike player. We didn't really see that transition over to Valorant that well very early on, but every single tournament he's starting to look better and better, and that's a hell of a clutch to win.
So now we go into the 4th round, and even still, NRG not feeling all that comfortable with their economy because they were punished so heavily off of kills. They'll be a little bit light as far as what weaponry they can bring to the table, forcing the Blade Storm out, and as Subroza finds first blood, that on the daps. Now it's just down to Wardell trying to play for this weapon upgrade, and sitting in the smoke is eeiu. Subroza will be there for the trade, but still, it's not a bad opportunity for NRG to walk away with the kill.
Kind of forces NRG at this point to try and stack together. A really good response from TSM. The last round was very much buffered economy, a bonus round, a lot of people will call it. So, some of the players for TSM, their money was still decent, and they responded in kind. Subroza finding that early impact. Round isn't over yet. It's still a 4 versus 3, and NRG still have money, but it's going to be a really tough retake. They are spreading very thin across the sites. And considering that Som is still on B, not wanting to take part in this, you would expect TSM to take this round.
effys on the lurk, long flank, 2 members nearby, holding the angle. He's going to be good for the first. Does he expect the second? Sort of, but Drone's able to put him down. Now the showstopper up top. TSM want to clean up this round now. Blast pack through the corner. KOLER's going to peek. That'll be the end of him. Hazed will find the kill before the showstopper could reach. Sam, shoulder check. Right click. Not even going to come through. He was trusting the individual knives. They won't connect, and TSM take the 4th round.
I like the Paranoia showstopper combo that came out, just creating a bit more space for Subroza. Even if he doesn't get a frag with the ultimate, which he didn't, it's 10 seconds of time where NRG can't break onto rafters and on the site. As soon as effys goes down, they know that there's 2 players trying to come in from the defender's spawn. Just create more time for themselves, and a straightforward round. Really good from TSM to respond very quickly to going down and losing that clutch that we saw the round previous. They still have money. It's forced NRG to save, and they have ultimates coming online too.
Early paranoia coming out. Gonna find much, but TSM playing very patient at the moment, considering that you have NRG on a save round, not wanting to give away anything. And there is an aggressive defense set up through B main at the moment. Also members that are peeking over through mid. Hazed will eventually find the kill. Subroza second guessed if there was actually going to be needed a check to the right, and with that, daps will find a kill, an early neural theft, and a weapon upgrade.
From the shadows gets dedicated. The issue is that he does have players around him. Effys actually getting a frag onto KOLER. The nice key pick. NRG yet again spreading themselves across the map, trying to get in behind and lurk in that position. effys has the door closed in on him, and with guns like this, he needs all of the ammo that he can get. So certainly pay attention to daps, who's wrapping in all around. I think the Sova is going to be watching it. He's going to be checking it at least at that point. The shots don't really hit NRG. daps at least is going to be forced back a little, and this retake isn't looking that good.
Well, it does open up the opportunity for NRG to push forward, knowing that TSM had to respond to this player on the potential flank. Dark cover set, recon bolt not finding much. eeiu right above. As he drops, he's going to find one. eeiu looking for more now. Dark cover through, there's the shock dart. eeiu going to find one more. It's down to a 1v1. He clutches it up, but there's not enough time for the defuse. So TSM, they will find themselves up 4-1 here early offensively. And NRG, again, not surviving with a lot of members. Yeah, they'll be able to afford to the next round, but again, it's starting to feel more and more like a must-win round the later we get into the first half.
Definitely. NRG, though, made something from very little. I was very skeptical on whether they'd be able to do that much damage to TSM. But it's important because look at Drone's money. He's completely out of it at this point. And he was half armor, and now picking up the Bulldog instead of buying fully. So this is like a lot of question marks now for TSM. What do they buy? Their money has been completely wiped out, even though they've won 2 rounds in a row. This is a big round for NRG to exploit with their better guns and with the ultimates that they have available. A really good Hunter's Fury here from eeiu could be clutch.
There is one to respond, and we know that KOLER loves to try to pull these out early to try to find kills with it. Recon bolt will be sent over to tree. KOLER's nearby. This is going to be a hit right onto his location. Hunter's Fury is going to come out. Here comes the challenge, and KOLER's only good for one initially. KOLER, though, with the Hunter's Fury, has cleared up some space for this hit to come through. Sam trying to stay alive. Down to 55 HP. effys! What a transfer! He finds himself 2, looking for a third at range, but Wardell is able to make things now down to a 1v2. Gets a read on one player through the tree, predicts eeiu correctly, but doesn't hold the angle long enough. And NRG, they take the must-win round.
And I don't think that happens if NRG don't make that last round as close as it was.
Agreed.
Some really solid stuff. effys, great again, anchoring onto the site. The paranoia doesn't really hit the other targets coming in onto the site, but he's been so tricky to trace now for TSM to lock him down. And these executes are looking awkward. Look at this awkward buy now for TSM. There's a Stinger, half armor, a classic with full from Wardell as the Blade Storm's going to be coming out. This is a great opportunity for NRG to buffer up their economy, take a round to make it closer, and to scare TSM, because TSM do start to make a lot of mistakes that can be punished.
So here they go, aggressive, blast pack.
Oh no.
Will not really allow KOLER a chance for the kill, so KOLER will clean things up. Not a lot of trigger discipline showcased there, so now Sam. How many is he good for? There's the first, number 2 through. Third one in the corner, but it's a double peek that comes out, and hazed will be able to find the punish. So 3v3, a couple weapons should be picked up, and Wardell will find one more pick onto effys, who was looking for an aggressive challenge. And now NRG trying to break this up with a 2v3. Nice shots for daps, but doesn't confirm the kill. The spam shots, though, are good. eeiu also committed to Hunter's Fury, will be challenged from the side. Hazed with the pick. Daps through the wall again. Now to a 1v1. And I think he's got a beat on where exactly Subroza's playing. Knows he's in the archway, but time is becoming a consideration. Who's got the better reaction? It's gonna be Subroza, a thrifty round for TSM up 5-2.
Oh, but NRG are making it so close. Wardell being able to do so much damage to just bring that down, but daps with 2 wallbang kills. eeiu caught out with the ultimate, though. Nobody was watching on the other side of the boathouse. Hazed just pushes it and punishes it. Another close round that NRG could have very easily won. Now they have to save, and that is a pivotal round because TSM are now starting to build that lead. Their money is now going to be good for a couple of rounds. NRG need to make this close. If they can't win it, they need to do some damage to TSM.
Shock start. We'll chip a little bit of damage away from Subroza's max HP. Wardell very patiently watching through A main, where effys is currently lurking, but we've seen this before for TSM, where they play a little bit more passive at the opening, don't want to give away too much, make sure they're not going to get isolated or punished. But NRG were able to have a really solid look at the eco round a couple rounds previous. They would love to replicate that performance here in this round here in round number 8.
daps has closed the door, worried that there's going to be a B mid split coming through. The Eldron is going to make sure that he knows that they're coming and tries to push them aggressively, but Drone with a bigger gun and with the help of his friends is going to make that an easy frag. eeiu though is a nice positioning, but can't get more than one with the Stinger. It's just 2 defenders now, one of which is on site with Som, trying to make it hard to hit. Easy cleanup for TSM. An expected round win for them. But the fact that they only lose 1 is concerning from NRG, who now can buy. Som's going to have the operator. Look at the money from TSM. It's comfortable.
Yeah, starting to pad the pockets without question here for TSM. And you're going to see the operator come out for Som and the Odin for eeiu. So eeiu will be playing over towards B. Som over through the tree room. He's been known to get aggressive with peeks, not just through the tree cubby over through mid, but he also often takes it over to A long for early peeks. This time it'll be the former rather than the latter. Dark covers will come through for TSM, and beyond that, there were no members to see anyways of the operator, so he'll back away as TSM full stack over towards A.
Joke's over.
And the back is going to be used. Paranoia is a nice counter to it. It finds very little over that the Omen's on site. He can teleport out though, but it's daps and KOLER that get so many frags. Frey versus Frey now. It's a bloodbath, but it's slowed down now into a nice 2v2.
And the Empress from KOLER doesn't find too much. effys can't find his counterpart of Hazed, so now it's just down to eeiu. One member down to critical HP, that's Hazed, who's down to about a bullet.
Oh,
Shock
no.
Dart did not get the bounce that eeiu was hoping for. Recon Bolt will find a bit of information. He is able to confirm some damage, but not a kill. So will he actually know that both players are not just positioned in lower hell, but are also down to a couple of bullets? eeiu making the play. Gets onto site. Spam shots are there. Hazed with his 3rd kill cleans things up. And TSM really starting to snowball this attacking half.
Oh, but beaten and bloody yet again. Both of those players were so low. There was just a heart of the cards moments coming out of NRG there, where he just burrows with the Odin beneath into hell and gets 2. That could have been a very real possibility, but nevertheless, another save coming out of NRG. It's almost heartbreaking to watch how so close they're getting, yet so far. Is like you mentioned, this lead is starting to build and TSM starting to look like themselves again. This should be another round on the cards for them.
Offensively, 2 players stacked nearby. Subroza, good for the first. Not necessarily the second. Bladestorm getting there, but no, not going to connect. Daps will finally get the kill, but oh boy, is it a punishing one. You've got no more Bladestorm available for you. TSM looking primed to attack onto A. Hazed is making a lot of noise, and KOLER will respond to it. That's going to be a Vandal picked up for him. So now a 3v3. Weaponry becoming a little bit more formidable by the moment here for the defense, but KOLER will still stick for the plant.
And there's no smoke on the post plant now for the attackers. So that doorway is just going to be a real pain for them. They have to use up the Jett smokes now because the Omen is down. And this is the direction they're coming from. They want to exploit this as much as possible. Guns still aren't ideal. But all 3 of these defenders potentially coming through. Wardell is actually going to dash onto site, but that's a really nice paranoia yet again coming out of effys. But he gets caught out by Drone. KOLER can't trade. Drone gets free. This is getting too close to call for TSM in some cases. But these clutch performances out of these players are starting to show, and this lead from TSM is starting to build.
It's just all of the things that we noted about NRG in last week's open qualifiers, both in the first and second tournaments that they played through, were just small things here or there, numbers advantages they weren't able to confirm, some timings that were just not favorable for them. They're starting to crop back up here again versus TSM, and there have been so many rounds in the 8 that TSM have won that honestly could have gone the either way. But the clutch factor that we've seen from so many individuals on TSM in the last 2 maps have allowed them to not just take back this series, but potentially take over. effys able to find first blood defensively. Showstopper not finding a lot. Run it back for a drone as he pushes through over to Tree. He will find one, and with good help from Subroza, they will come on top of the trades with the spike being planted.
It's another 3 versus 3. Wardell is going to try and press on the site, but that door's broken again. NRG have found a nice little Achilles heel that they could just tickle a little bit to make it really awkward now for TSM to hold on. They have full A main control. It's going to be smoked off. They can sort of uproot Wardell from underneath Hell. They've got a great opening of getting this spike defused.
Wardell able to find 1 kill as he will again pressed forward. Sam, good for the first, but he needs to find 2 more. And what would need to do a 1v3. Good timing off the hot hands. That'll push Sam off and give a little bit of extra time, and Sam is going to recognize he's not going to have time for this. He'll salvage the operator back away, and we'll go into the final round of the half, looking at a 2-9 advantage for TSM. And on the backside of that, NRG are going to be really hard-pressed to be able to buy anything.
Round in the half.
Some nice play from Wardell playing from Hell was just, you know, the bait in some cases because TSM had that Hunter's Fury on the Sova. He was playing from Gelato at that point. Didn't even need to use the ultimate. That's how comfortable it was for TSM there. Even on the rounds where they get knocked down a couple of pegs. NRG are just being put through their paces at this point. They are dealing with it relatively well, but just pound for pound, they can't keep up with the absolute monolith that is TSM right now. This is the kind of team that you would expect to get to the first strike finals at this point. NRG have gone very close to them. There's still an opportunity, of course, but when TSM play like this, it's going to be tough for any opponent.
Lurking, it's going to be the Omen over from B. As we're going to get some sound here. Looking for an aggressive paint, or pardon me, paint shells. Aggressive Hunter's Fury. Not going to come away with too much. Hazed was trying to scout from the shadows, but doesn't really come away with too much information. Aldrin will now be trusted to come through as they're trying to really isolate this kill. Backside of the site, but it's just not coming through all too successfully, so everyone still survives. From the shadows forced just to keep effys alive, so a lot of pressure as he's down to 1 HP at that. And now as Hazed pushes us forward, he'll find first blood, and TSM will wrap this bomb back over to B.
Yeah, effys wanted to at least try and trade, but he's 2 HP. He does have a smoke still, another one coming online soon, but did he expect this aggressive push from Hazed? He's gone all the way to the defender's spawn. All of this map control now into TSM. It's just going to be somebody operator. 10-2 half for TSM. Dominant on their attack. But NRG need to do what TSM were able to do on Split and try and bring this back close. But it's not looking good. It's looking like another FaZe clan showing on this very map on Ascent.
Yeah. Oh man, how close though have NRG been? They were up 10-4 on Split. They see it go to overtime. Can't clutch things out, and now here TSM having their way, and we've had questions about this triple duelist setup for TSM through our first 2 maps. I think now we're finally starting to get our answers as far as why they've flexed onto this composition over the last couple of maps now. This is different. Again, no Sentinel at all through any of the 3 maps we've seen.
I mean, also look at KOLER. He's 4-12. He's just not had that individual impact that
That's
you just
true,
need.
yeah.
You need that on a Reyna, right? If you're not getting those kills, then you're not able to use any form of real utility. Nice shock dart coming through, at least from KOLER in this position. But this execute is going to be faced with a full retake. Could go either way at this point. Depends how NRG want to play this.
A lot of spam shots for now, but damage really not even being exchanged between both parties. And for TSM, no opportunity for a flank to come through, so it's going to have to be from the front or from the tree door that's currently still shut. Subroza with drone up top. Updraft just being baited. Not even fully being utilized. Boombot, curveball, paint shells, all of it being used, but the paranoia will again stop anything from coming out. Classic won't be good for too much bullet penetration, but Drone still finds first blood. KOLER another. The retake looking a bit better here. KOLER for 3. That was just down to Wardell. Frenzy with 2 bullets. Not going to be enough. Time becoming a problem. Recon bolt comes through. The reload gets off, but eeiu punishes, and NRG will take the pistol.
Yeah, Wardell knew that the chance of defusing was tight. That's what he wanted. He wanted those 2 members of NRG to die in the process to make sure that their economy isn't going to be as good as it can be in that scenario. Really good recon ball that came in from KOLER to get all of that information, but NRG across the site playing very much in the face. Nobody really playing from A main or any of the control. They were playing on site, trying to face as much as possible, and they won a lot of their duels. So NRG win a key round, but look how much they're buying up. There's no, holding onto a ghost here or there. They're getting full armor, they're getting full specters and a phantom. They can't let these rounds slide.
Even better if you can find a way to do this one convincingly. TSM, though, playing aggressive. Wardell nearly punishes. Flash, paint shells, all being spent, but daps stays alive. KOLER there with some help. That's a good start. A dicey start, but a good start for NRG.
And this is where you want to see KOLER light up a little bit more. He opted away from the Phoenix that can obviously bring those flashes in a lot more team utility than the Reyna certainly can. So we've just seen very little of him, not only on the kill feed, but just across the utility other than the layers that he can provide. He gets another one, actually. He's finding a lot of impact on B main, where the majority of TSM are pushing from. The last was hazed. Flawless round. Again, necessary from NRG, especially after everybody died in the last round. Their money's going to be decent. TSM, full buy-in, comfortable. Still, the 6 rounds ahead.
There's a couple of members that'll be, actually, all 4 of the 5 that are going into Phantoms will be zeroed out of their economy here. So, still an important round here for TSM. Will they even have full utility behind this, or are they preferring to go for the weapon and the armor? Yet to be seen, but this is still a round that NRG can absolutely still mess with and find a way to potentially take away, even considering they are just running on mostly Spectres.
Recon Bolt is going to find too much on the defense at least, so nice patient play from NRG to not let their cards be shown too early. daps thrown in a little bit of a curveball. He's got the rotation coming through a little bit, at least from TSM towards the B site. But the A site is completely open. Retake central from TSM. Wardell wanted to catch people off as they push on through. He's expected a trade push. Even a paranoia comes through over in that direction where there's absolutely nobody. Straightforward stuff for NRG to break onto this site, but the retake is certainly not going to be that now.
And for NRG, they will get this spike down successfully. Shock darts will provide a little bit of damage for TSM, but no kills to speak of as of yet. And you still have daps, who's watching the long flank. So as they start to build this information, NRG are going to recognize that this threat will 100% be from the front. Wardell, he's good for the first kill. Now there's potential for numbers. KOLER, low HP, he gets caught out.
Look
but
at
that effys also falls. daps trying to play for the flank, has to go massive. There's the first. He gets good help from eeiu for the second. Exchanges the weapons out, but hazed is there for the easy kill. And TSM will retake, and it won't even be all that costly as they find themselves up 11-4.
Yeah, I really like the flank from daps, but that was just a solid retake from TSM. NRG facing a little bit too much. I think they had too many bodies on the site to try and take it. They had the Sova over in A main, a place that Hiko for 100 Thieves loves to play in those clutch scenarios, but they were just cleaned out too easily from TSM. The call of that controlling tree, broke it apart, and a straightforward retake from then on out. Luckily, the money's still good from NRG. They don't really have any ultimates coming online just yet, unless they get a couple of kills, pick up a couple of orbs. But TSM in a similar position. They are going to try and face aggressively towards B with a paranoia. If they can catch daps here, that's a nightmare scenario.
And Wardell has the judge, so keep your eye on him in the minimap to see what exactly he wants to do with it. He's currently sitting through treat. As Subroza will push forward, uses the paid shells, able to isolate daps for first blood. That is a punishing kill early for NRG. Aldrone also defensively will scout out there's nobody through A long, and with that, TSM, they're actually going to press their advantage to the middle of the map. There's going to be 2 members nearby and a third of KOLER who might try to help open up some space for them to peek here. And NRG, as they're showing force to B main, don't have the spike with them, so they're going to be really careful they don't get collapsed on.
Do they expect drone in this spot, though? I wonder if that makes enough noise for them to hear that he's in that spot. I highly doubt it.
Any noise.
The Aldrone isn't going to spot him, actually. But the layer comes through. He is going to spot heads. The hop-in stops, and the recon bolt comes through. KOLER gets a nice early frag. It's a 4 versus 4. But the Phoenix flash comes through. Drone is under a lot of pressure. Excuse me. And this is going to be tricky as he goes down. So do I in this case.
That's tough. Drone's just hoping for some timing that everybody would turn around for the shots that were coming from mid-market, but he doesn't quite get the connections he was hoping for. Empress is going to be popped here for KOLER as they want to try to lock this down. TSM still showing force, still have the advantage when it comes to playing with knowing that NRG are completely locked into the site, with the only exception being eeiu. And if they can find this kill onto the Sova player, they will be in a 3v3, and there it is. There's the pick. Now all of a sudden you got to deal with KOLER in the back. The Empress will find the kill.
Revealing area.
And the recon bolt for KOLER, it's not going to find anything, and at this point TSM might have to give this up.
Best case scenario, you get some and the rest of NRG that are trying to get off the site. Wardell's got the right idea. Getting these exit frags is going to be big.
Oh,
I would
no.
imagine effys dies in that scenario. It is another round for NRG, but another round where everybody dies on that side. Even Wardell is in that position that he's going to get caught out. But how much damage does that do to the economy for NRG? Not too much, but if they lose this round, they have got to like a half by at most, with TSM being on matching series point. Another must-win round for them coming up.
Wardell will just go full armor as he's going to have the Blade Storm ready to go. Still Spectres being held onto by daps and Som, although Som also can pull the Blade Storm here. And it looks like that will occur. Som looking to get aggressive, updraft immediately on this site, but not taking care of Drone means that he's going to actually split this up into two. Now it's also a push through for hazed. He takes care of eeiu as he couldn't put the Hunter's Fury down in time. Run it back coming out. TSM not interested in giving NRG any opportunity at all. And with that, it will be the final kill from KOLER off the Hunter's Fury. A flawless round defensively, and TSM on match point.
Perfect round for TSM, flawless. Their money wasn't good in that round. If they lost it, they would have had to save again. So the fact that they did that flawlessly means that you look over to NRG, you look at their money. This is their best opportunity. It's their last opportunity in this series, and it's Sheriffs, it's a Spectre, it's a Marshal from eeiu. They do have a couple of ultimates, but nothing to really make a play from, as the Empress came out previously, and the Blade Storm came out in the last round, as well as the Hunter's Fury. Last-ditch attempt now from NRG. Ooh.
Decent first pick, but KOLER losing his life will also mean that the spike is down, and even though Subroza has fallen, they're trying to guard this weapon as TSM, and again, the Marshal's actually tagging pretty heavy, so some value here. Out of the forced purchase, a 4v4 will come through, but this is going to be a weapon picked up and corralled for NRG. This is still a doable 4v4.
If they did that a little bit sooner, though, they could have used that neural theft. The body's gone a little bit cold now, so they can't do too much with it. And considering they're playing mid, it's a gamble. Do you run into the 2 on A or the 2 on B? The Owl Drone is going to give them a bit of a lean on information, but look at how TSM played. They're just anchoring onto this site. You won't know they're there until you are there yourself, so it's going to be awkward for NRG to clear all of these angles. Drone knows that they're coming. This is it.
Good help from Wardell. A lot of trust there. Drone with a secondary peek will line up the other two. Double kill for him. Spike on the site. Last hope for NRG to stay in the winner's side of Group B. Comes down to eeiu to extend the map. Might get an opportunity here for the first. That one's free on the KOLER, but the rest, I'm sure, will not be nearly as easy.
How are TSM going to play this, though? Drone is actually going to push up. If he gets caught out here, that's a big loss. He does. Oh, this has got interesting. eeiu has a recon bolt coming online in a second. Where's he going to throw it?
He's going to try to bounce it up, but gets caught. Hazed finds the kill. GG's in the chat, and NRG were a round away from taking their first